Good afternoon, folks. Now, this afternoon topic C deals with a hospital in Massachusetts is investing in infrastructure of housing to help with the housing shortage in their community. Okay, so I'm going to dig into that subject for this afternoon C. Please join me for today's discussion C. Here we go. Fall River, Fall River Health Services is investing 2.3 million to build the infrastructure for new 48 unit subdivision, an unusually bold move by a small rural hospital to solve its hometown housing shortage and stabilize its workforce. A deeper look at the project. The Cascade Hills subdivision, located just a few hundred yards from the hospital's Hot Springs, South Dakota campus, represents a rare example of a health system acting as a housing developer. Fall River, Fall River Health Services, a 25-bed independent nonprofit, has spent years saving cash reserves, specifically so it could intervene in the local housing market. The total infrastructure cost is 3.4 million. And the hospitals or the hospital is covering the majority. The subdivision will include 48 affordable homes, a mix of single family houses, duplexes, townhomes, and small villas. Early estimates suggest single family homes will be roughly 1,300 square feet, with prices starting around 285,000 to 350,000, depending on size and configuration. Why a hospital is building houses? Fall River Health is facing a 10% workforce shortage with 19 open positions, most in direct patient care. Over the past 2 years, dozens of promising candidates turned down job offers because they simply couldn't find a place to live. As CFO Jesse Naves put it, it's not wages nor benefits keeping employees away. It's simply that housing just isn't available. This shortage has forced the hospital to rely on expensive traveling clinicians, driving up cost and straining existing staff. Permanent Local hires would reduce these pressures and improve continuity of care. How the financing and incentive, how the financing and incentives work. Hospital investment is 2.3 million for roads, utilities, and site preparation. State support nearly 1.2 million from South Dakota Housing Infrastructure Financing Program. Recruitment incentives. Employees who buy a home may receive up to 54,000 in lot cost reimbursement. They stay at the hospital for 5 years. A powerful retention tool. Affordability impact. Infrastructure support is expected to reduce lot prices by 30,000 and lower rents by about 100 per month. How this fits into a broader trend. Other South Dakota employers like Wall Drug and Keystone tourism operators have provided temporary housing such as mobile homes or RV for seasonal workers. But Fall River Health is the first employer in the state to invest in permanent long-term housing designed to benefit both the workforce and the broader community. Benefits and emerging questions. Benefits, recruitment and retention. Stable, affordable housing directly addresses the hospital's biggest higher barrier. Community impact. The subdivision expands the town's housing stock, supporting economic growth beyond the hospital. Risks and trade-offs. Financial exposure. The hospital is fronting significant capital, slow home sales, or cost overtures could create pressure. Equity considerations. Housing tied to employment may raise concerns about access for non-hospital residents unless policies ensure broader community benefits. Why this matters beyond South Dakota. Cascade Hills becoming a nationally watched model for how rural employers, especially hospitals, can intervene when the housing market fails. It suggests that in smaller towns, employers may need to become developers to secure the workforce required to keep essential services running. Fall River Health services. 2.3 million investment in the Cascade Hills subdivision is one of the clearest examples of, of a rural hospital stepping directly into the housing market to solve a workforce crisis that traditionally economic forces have failed to fix. The project is both recruitment strategy and community building innovation. Innovation born from necessity in a town where available homes are so scarce that even well qualified candidates simply cannot move there. A fuller picture of the project. Cascade Hills is designed as a 48 unit mixed type neighborhood, intentionally planned to meet the needs of of a diverse workforce. The layout includes single family homes, duplexes, townhouses, and small villas, creating a range of price points and living arrangements. The hospital's 2.3 million contribution covers most of the 3.4 million infrastructure cost. Roads, water, sewer, electrical lines, essential components that private developers often avoid in small markets because the return on investment is too low. South Dakota. South Dakota's housing nearly 1.2 million. Grant fills the remaining gap, making the subdivision financially visible in a rural area where construction costs often exceed what residents can afford to pay. Why the hospital stepped in. Fall River Health Services, a 25-bed independent nonprofit, has been operating within a 10% staffing shortfall, equivalent to 19 open positions across nursing, therapy, imaging, and supporting roles. Leaders reported that over the past 2 years, dozens of strong applicants turned down job offers, not because of wages, benefits, or community fits, but because there was nowhere to live within a reasonable commute. This shortage has forced the hospital to rely on traveling clinicians, which can cost 2 to 3 times more than permanent staff and disrupt continuity of care for a small rural hospital with thin margins. This is not sustainable. How the financial and retention strategy works. The hospital's approach blends community development with workforce strategy. Home pricing. Early estimates price the place 1,300 square foot single family homes in the 285,000 to 350,000 range. Still high for the region, but significantly lower than they would be without subsidized infrastructure. Employer retention incentives. Staff who purchase a home can receive up to 54,000 in lot cost reimbursement if they remain employed for 5 years. This is effectively a long-term retention bonus embedded in home ownership. Affordability ripple effects. By absorbing infrastructure costs, the hospital reduces lot prices by 30,000 and lowers projected rents by about 100 per month, making the units accessible to a broader segment of the community. Okay, guys, that is your C for today. I will be back on with D shortly. Give me a bit for a break, please. And I'll be back on with you shortly.